One of the biggest things about Chainsaw Man that you'll hear everyone talk about are the characters. Author Tatsuki Fujimoto has a way of connecting you with his characters in a way that no other manga does. Although Chainsaw Man takes place in a fantastical world, you still somehow relate to the people who inhabit it, and oftentimes empathize with them as well. Towards the end of part 1, after Makima is defeated and all seems right, we're introduced to Nayuta, who's the reincarnation of the Control Devil. But Nayuta wasn't just meant to be a new character, she was meant to be Denji's second chance and proof that control, family, and responsibility didn't have to end the same way they did with Makima, and part 2 largely abandons that idea. Denji's character is a tragic one. From the moment he was born, he faced challenges. Dealing with abusive and neglectful parents as well as his family's financial issues led him down the path to where we're first introduced to him. And as the series progresses, these challenges only become worse, both physically and mentally. The contract between Denji and Pochita is that Pochita will live as Denji's heart, so long as Denji shows him his dreams. But what happens when Denji's dreams are shattered? Denji's dreams are simple. He wants to live a normal and happy life, but in the world of Chainsaw Man, that's almost impossible. Even as an average everyday human, the chances of you being killed, or worse, by a devil are high, yet it seems like Denji is the one who suffers the most. Being immortal, he's constantly getting killed in the line of duty, and it's even stated by Fujimoto that Denji feels the pain in his head and arms of being ripped open by his chainsaws every time he transforms. Even throughout all of his pain and misery, Denji still wishes to be Chainsaw Man. Denji's character and true motivations never change, as he's still the same scared little kid he's always been. This is reinforced by the fact that whenever we see Denji in his dream world, he's depicted as a child, and it isn't until he finds Asa that he's finally able to mature into the man he is now. Throughout part 2, Denji is told time and time again that he mustn't become Chainsaw Man, otherwise he'll never have a normal life he's always wanted. These external forces manifest their own vision and mirror Makima's original motivation. While Denji wants to live in the world that currently exists, all these different factions wish to use the power of Chainsaw to shape the world in their image. Denji's role in this is once again shaped by his own image of childhood and trauma, and once again, this view shifts when finding Asa in the dream world, proclaiming to her that he and Pochita will reshape the world in their own perfect image, where the three of them can live together and fulfill their dreams. But in the end, what was it all for? Chainsaw Man Part 1 doesn't end with a traditional victory. Makima is defeated, but her existence doesn't simply vanish. After killing her, Denji dismembers Makima's body and consumes her. His reasoning is that Makima's regenerative abilities are tied to her contracts, and by fully digesting her, he can prevent her from ever coming back. While this act successfully erases Makima as an individual, it doesn't eliminate the Control Devil itself. This is because devils in Chainsaw Man are not defined by individuals, but by fear, and as long as the fear of control exists, the Control Devil will always return. That fear manifests itself once again, this time taking the form of a young Chinese girl named Nayuta. She isn't Makima reborn, but rather a reincarnation, an entirely new being, carrying the same devil, yet none of the experiences that shaped Makima into who she was as a person. Nayuta is first discovered by Kishibe, who immediately understands the implications of her existence. Makima was created and molded by the government, raised in an environment centered around authority, utility, and control. Allowing history to repeat itself would only result in another Makima. To prevent this, Kishibe makes a deliberate choice and entrusts Nayuta to Denji instead. Denji adopts Nayuta in a loosely defined sister role, treating her as both family and, in a more practical sense, a roommate. This decision places the reincarnation of one of the most dangerous devils in the series into the care of someone who has consistently been denied a normal upbringing himself, and that contrast is intentional. Nayuta is no longer being raised as a weapon or a tool, but as a child, one who is allowed to develop without the influence of institutional control. Nayuta's role reframes the ending of part 1 entirely. The story doesn't conclude with the eradication of control, but with the attempt to raise it differently. Where Makima represents control, imposed through manipulation and fear, Nayuta represents the possibility of control shaped by environment and upbringing. In that sense, she is not only a continuation of the Control Devil's existence, but a direct commentary on how Makima was created in the first place. So why does Nayuta's character feel wasted in part 2 of Chainsaw Man? Part 2 of Chainsaw Man is often criticized for its misuse of its characters, where some are left underdeveloped, while others are given more screen time than they deserve. There are several instances mentioned in the dialogue where it's implied that Denji and Yoshida have hung out outside of class, and just off screen where us readers can't see. While these moments may feel like filler at times, they also work to help build a foundation and genuine connection between not only the reader, but also between the characters themselves. Yoshida's death is sad for those who are fans of his character, but it being the switch that activates Pochita may not feel as earned as it should be had we been given given more time between Denji and Yoshida, and that feeling extends itself to Nayuta as well. She isn't reintroduced until chapter 119, when Denji invites Asa over for a date. When discussing the rules of the house with Asa, Denji mentions that under no circumstance should they make out. Yoru then takes this opportunity to kiss Denji right in front of Nayuta as she walks in, leading us into the next chapter where Nayuta is able to rewrite the memories of Asa and Yoru into forgetting they went on a date entirely. From then on, Nayuta's role in the story takes a bit of a back seat until Barum appears to take everything away from Denji and cast him back into the darkness he was once in when Makima killed his family. The difference, however, is the time we spent with Aki, Power, and the rest felt more earned, even if the time in-universe was longer. We, the audience, never feel that time. Part 2's chaotic nature also never gives us time to wind down and appreciate the quieter moments of this world. As mentioned before, Yoshida and Denji's friendship is only ever implied and never directly shown to us, and while the pace of Chainsaw Man has never been an issue, it still allowed us time to live with these characters and spend time with them, falling in love with them over the course of the series. Part 2 started out with these quieter moments between Asa, Yoru, and Yuko, and we saw their relationship grow, so when Yuko eventually passes, we feel the weight of her tragedy more than if we had only heard about her escapades with Asa. In the end, Chainsaw Man Part 2 asks us to mourn the relationships we were never allowed to live inside of. Nayuta isn't a failed character or a wasted concept, she's evidence of what Chainsaw Man Part 2 consistently denies Denji: time. Part 1 didn't end with the destruction of control, but with the fragile hope that it could be shaped differently, that Denji might be entrusted with something without it being taken away from him. Nayuta was a second chance, a version of control formed through environment, routine, and care, rather than fear and manipulation. But Part 2 never slows down enough to let that idea exist on the page. Much like Denji's relationship with Yoshida, Nayuta's place in his life is largely implied, confined to off-screen moments we're told happened, but we're never allowed to experience. And because of that, when everything is threatened once again, the loss feels less impactful and more muted rather than devastating, and not because the bond isn't real, but because the story never gives us, the audience, the time to feel it. In a world where Denji has been killed, used, and rewritten over and over again, Chainsaw Man Part 2 wears its cruelest message on its sleeve: that even when Denji is given a family, he's never meant to keep it.